Alrighty, what's up, people? True Techno Gamer here. You see, I'm down in the home theater. I figure I'd do this quick video at some point. I might reveal this to you guys. I might publish this, but I just recently made some other upgrades. So, before I even show what it is, I want to just point out something here. So the theme for me, and honestly, this wasn't something I necessarily planned to do at this point, but the theme at this point, once you get a system of this caliber, as you see here, and I've talked about, of course, on my channel, I'm on that pursuit to quote unquote endgame. I'm just really getting, just world class system here. You gotta fill in the gaps. Getting the core components, getting a great set of speakers and a great amplifier, great processor, those are obviously important. But once you get that, and especially once you get it to a certain quality, you gotta fill in the gaps. What I mean is your Lamborghini needs great tires, right? You know what I mean? Like you can't just throw any old, Honda Civic tires on that car and expect it, to justify that performance, right? Like why have that, right? If you're gonna do that. So what does that really mean? Well, by and large, that means cleaning up your power, which, I've talked about already. I've gotten, the Edison outlet from Audioquest, so I basically replaced my outlet that's powering my home theater. I got the Niagara, 5000 power conditioner, which is awesome. I got some power cables, new power cable, pretty big heavy duty power cable on the Niagara, and also upgraded the power cable that's on my my Anthem, my AVM90 processor and DAC. I'm still using that as a DAC. So that's all important, right? So the next thing, the logical thing after that is, of course, your cables. Now, I had some decent cables already on the speakers. Definitely can, these speakers can probably benefit from going higher than that. And that's a whole nother discussion. We'll talk about that. But it also, in the meantime, what are we doing with the interconnects? And that's where we're at. So without further ado, I have gotten a whole bunch of new stuff from Audioquest. And I'll quickly talk about what we're looking at here. So I got some of this stuff from Crutchfield. Shout out to Crutchfield. I've gotten some things from them over the years. They're a great online retailer for, our home theater and audio and all that kind of good stuff, electronics. And then some of this I got from one of my favorite places, Gramophone, here in Maryland area. So what are we looking at? These are all XLR interconnect cables from Audioquest, right? So these are the cables that's going to connect to my processor to all my amps. I have 3 amplifiers, right? I've talked about this before. I have the JC5 from Parasound, their flagship 2-channel amp that's powering the main 2 7F speakers here, right? That's the high quality thing. That's the thing that's used for music as well as home theater and everything else, right? I have the Parasound Halo 852 Plus that's powering the center, and then my main surrounds on the main bed level. And then I have an Outlaw, Outlaw 5000X, I think, is the 5-channel version, which is a nice solid, amplifier as well. Now, here's the thing, guys, and I've talked about this. I've talked to a number of people about this. The way I've approached my home theater and my audio setup, it's not balanced, meaning that, because I have a full home theater and I have 11 channels at this point, may add more at some point later, but I'm good for this space. I am good, trust me. So I got 11 speakers, right? And then 2 subwoofers as well. When I'm listening to music, which is when, this system is really going to shine in terms of the quality that it can offer at its class level and price level and all that kind of stuff. It's really about pushing the music. And when I'm listening to music, primarily, I'm only listening to the left and right speakers, right? Primarily. Yes, there are times where I might throw on music and just stream something, right? Throw Spotify on and just have it coming out of all the speakers, especially when it's like kind of more of a social gathering and, there's people back here, whatever. I want to fill up the room more. Absolutely, I do that. But again, that's not about listening to music, and really analyzing and just absorbing it and, getting caught up in the high quality of it. That's not what that's about. When I'm, just listening, sitting here in my sweet spot, for the main two channels, that's what that's about. So it only makes sense that the two main channels get the biggest upgrades and get the most attention, if that makes sense, right? And then second to that would be, I would say, the center channel is, obviously the workhorse of the home theater stuff. When I'm watching TV, movies, or gaming, center channel is the workhorse. It's getting a lot of the action here as well, right? And then the surrounds, would technically follow. And then last, you can't probably see with these lights, would be the Atmos speakers up top. Because honestly, Atmos, I mean, even though it is used and pretty much on for almost everything I do, gaming and TV, even gets the matrix height effects or whatever, it's obviously not, the most prominent thing that you're going to hear, that I hear right in my home theater. So that gets last. Now you see that reflected in the amps, right? The JC5 is, a $7,500 flagship two-channel amplifier from a reputable company. The A52 Plus is still like their Halo line, but it's obviously a huge, a noticeable step down. It's multi-channel. The power rating is different. It's 400 watts per channel in the big boy, the JC5. It's only 180, I think 180 watts per channel in the A52 Plus. And then it can go up to 225 watts if it's only two channels active. That's still pretty good, right? But it's not that, right? And then the Outlaw, I think, is only 125 watts per channel, I want to say. Again, that makes sense. The Atmos speakers don't need as much power. The surround speakers don't need as much power. I did kind of contemplate giving more power to my center speaker, but, whatever. And then, of course, the amp, the JC5 two-channel amp, that should have the most power because these speakers require the most power, A. And again, for music, you want to have more power for those transients and dynamic effects. So that makes sense. So that carries over into my approach here. If you are familiar with Audioquest's line, you can kind of see the Pegasus here that's in the middle is their premium XLR interconnect cable. I'm not even going to say how expensive it was, but it is a premium. It's their second highest line. Their technical highest line would be the Mythical Creatures line. There's several ones in that category, but that's a whole nother ball game. And you're talking, approaching 10 grand for just a cable, seriously. But this is also really high, and the Pegasus is meant to basically bring that performance, but just to a slightly more affordable price. Now, again, these speakers aren't Focal Utopia, Grand Utopias. These aren't $100,000, $200,000 speakers, which is what you probably would need, would want to have to justify getting the Dragons and the Firebird level interconnects, if you know Audioquest. That's their super, super high-end stuff, right? But yeah, I want pretty high-end. So Pegasus is the one that's going to go on the main LRs, right? The Black Beauty, see this also in a similarly big box, is really close to the Pegasus. It's a slight step down, but it's really close to the Pegasus, and it has a lot of Audioquest's best cable technology. And I have 3 sets, as you see there, which is 6 cables, which I don't necessarily have 6 outlets for. I was basically going to use that for the center channel, and then my surrounds, that's 5, and then I guess I have an extra one. I'm probably just throwing one of the Atmos. And then the McKinsey cables are, again, farther down the line. You see the box is much smaller. It's much more reasonable price, couple $100. But they're not even Audioquest's entry level at all. They're kind of like their mid to high end of their entry level category, I guess. But they should still be a step up from what I already currently have. So hopefully. So will I hear a difference? That's the question. People have debated this. Do cables make a difference? And we shall see. At the end of the day, though, I have heard cables making a difference, like I mentioned, and I definitely see the value that having a system like this, I need to feed it right in order to maximize it. If I want to maximize and justify and get the most for my money, with a system like this, I want to make sure that it's getting, everything in the chain basically is as high quality as possible. That doesn't mean go absurd, like I said, and just get Audioquest's flagship, absolute top of the line. I think would probably be overkill for this system, believe it or not. And it's just absurdly expensive, right? But this is still pretty bad, pretty expensive. But, it's, I think, a good balance of me getting the quality out of it and, being able to enjoy this stuff at a much higher level. And it's cool to be able to get it. And I thought about it and I was like, oh, I'll just get it for the, the front LR. But I'm like, again, the center channel is doing a lot. I've always felt like I can get more clarity out of my center channel. I've been saying that for years. It's not just this speaker at all. It's just for years. I'm just like, the center channel, especially with certain like content streaming and stuff like that. It's like center channel, could do more. So maybe anything that can help bring out more dynamics and more clarity from there, that will be great. So I will at some point probably reveal this and talk about my actual impressions after using it for a while. Cables like this definitely need some break-in time, which for me, because I'm not, down here that much, not even every day sometimes, may take me a little longer. But, I'll check in hopefully before the end of the year, 2024, and let you guys know what this actually has done for my system. Either way, it's good to know that, I have addressed, the interconnect puzzle, so to speak, and that they are hopefully no longer a weak link in my system. So that's all for now. Just letting you guys know what's going on in the lab. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks. All right, fam. As a quick little follow-up, I just wanted to show that now that I finally got behind there and got my older cables out, I just wanted to show the difference here in quality in terms of what we're working with. So let's start with these. So these are the XLR cables that I actually had going now. I don't know if you can see it here. Right up there is Monoprice. I had gotten these cables so long ago. Again, you're talking to someone who just never really believed in cables like that, especially for the level system that I had. I thought everything was fine. It sounded good. So somewhere along the way, probably, I don't know, probably 12, 15 years ago, I got some Monoprice cable. I don't even remember when I got them. It was just something to say, okay, I have 11 channels, right? So I need to get an XLR for all of these channels, all of these speakers, and I don't want to spend too much. I didn't have that much. So even, getting a cable like this, I don't even remember what these would have cost. I don't even remember specifically what model these are, but you could also just see in my hands the overall quality. They're not shielded really. It says professional audio cable series, 16 gauge. It does say it's BC shielded on there. Probably can't see it, sorry, in the camera. It's really fine print. But yeah, BC shielded, 97.5%. This is what I had. So this XLR, by the way, was pretty much used for every channel in my system except for the front LR. So the center channel, my main surrounds, and the 4 Atmos speakers use this Monoprice XLR cable, little gold tip, right? So even going to the McKinsey line, my McKinsey cable, here it is. So you can see that it's actually braided, shielded. Again, this is a couple $100. This is not their high-end thing, but it already has a much higher quality. And just look at that. They actually have some silver in there. They have really, really high-grade copper. So, I mean, yeah, needless to say, you could just look at it. It is a higher build quality. Feeling this cable is just flimsy. It's flexible. This is much more rigid. Again, it has a much better shield on it. And again, this is not their high end. For the Atmos speakers, I'm like, I don't need to go all out, right? But just something to give me a little bit of an upgrade. And you can just see look at the difference in just how the actual, conductor material looks there, right? So that's what was on everything. So I'm going from that to McKinsey for the Atmos and then the Black Beauties for the surround speakers, right? Now, before I even get to that, let's just look at the higher end stuff. So this was the XLR cable that I was using on my front, left, and right. I don't remember when I got this one either. I think I got this probably when I got the the Power Sound 821 from a store when I was out living in Oregon, Portland area. I don't even see a brand on this thing right now. That is crazy, but you can see the actual, connector there. Not great. This one does have at least like a braided and shield, kind of like what the McKinsey does. So you can see the step up there. But in terms of what's here, it doesn't look that great. You know, again, it's overall still pretty flimsy. It definitely was. I mean, I got it from a like an audio store when I got the amp, the Parasound 821. I'm pretty sure that's when I got this. So it was meant to be, you know, I guess an XLR that they provided me with to go with along with that. Um, Again, I really don't even see a name on these things. That is crazy. But anyway, yeah, it was. Oh, here we go. Here we got something. These are what does it say? The Kimber Castle Hero line. I have no idea what that is. Again, they just gave it to me. They were like, hey, this is, you know, pretty. I knew it was higher quality than those. So I was like, okay, I'll take it as something to start. And this is what I had for my main LR. So I'm going from that to this is the Pegasus line, like I said, from Audioquest. You can look at the cable itself, see how much thicker it is. I mean, literally, oh my gosh, craziness. This has the, you know, the noise reduction thing, battery pack that Audioquest is renowned for. And just look at the connector, guys. It's, you know, just way thicker, whole nother level of build quality here. So you can look at this and feel this and believe that it's going to, you know, deliver something well beyond that. Yeah. So I just wanted to show you guys the Black Beauties. I didn't even take them out the box, but they basically look pretty similar to this. You know, I think these are 12 gauge. I think the Black Beauties might be 14, maybe a little thinner, but they pretty much look similar to that. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later. All right, so I needed to capture this. This is the moment I'm finally unboxing my new speaker cables. This is an investment for the future. You know, with having these lovely speakers here, you know, I want to make sure I feed them, give them the best that, you know, they can have, they can handle, in order to get optimal performance and really, you know, maximize them, of course, maximize their potential. And, you know, I've heard these cables. So these are the Audioquest Thunderbird. These are part of the Mythical Creatures line, their flagship. Quick Google search or looking this up, or if you know this stuff, you know this is definitely not cheap. I've never been, you know, someone that really believes in the whole cable things until recently, honestly. It's actually a pretty interesting thing. But I've heard these cables, and I've heard my existing cables, the Rocket 88s from Audioquest, and on these speakers. Now, not these ones here in my house, but I've heard the exact Paradigm Persona 7Fs, and I literally heard the AB from the Rockets to these, and I mean, boy, did it make a difference. It really did. And the Rockets are no slouches. They're meant to be, you know, I thought they would be a nice transition. I knew eventually I would want to upgrade, but I thought there would be a nice transition. But, you know, man, when I just heard these, you know, they really made a difference. Now, does that warrant the cost, additional cost? You know, that's a different question. I'm not necessarily saying that they do. You know, I'm not saying that's a great value proposition, to be honest. But like I said, for me, it's an investment piece. Whether I keep these speakers for 15, 20 years or whether I wind up getting something else, I'm good on the cables. There really isn't too much further to go in an absolute sense. If you have all the money in the world, there really isn't much further to go than you know, this level cable. So, you know, what's left is just, you know, just impractical unless I ever, you know, got to the point where I'm literally rocking like $1 million system or something, which I have no aspirations to do, to be honest. But I think these would be a great fit. You know, these speakers can definitely bring out the differences that these cables can make. These are the combo. These are the bi-wire with the Zero Tech for the treble, and then the bass kind of in one wire, so they're kind of bi-wired, which is, you know, also like the upgraded version of these. So, you know, yeah, I mean, I'm about to hook them up. It's going to take, of course, you know, I've heard anywhere from basically a couple of 100 hours of playtime before these cables really fully open up. I actually have this cable, not the bi-wire version. Actually, no, I do have the bi-wire version. Sorry, on my center channel already. You can see it back there. It's really looks really high end and it's really thick, kind of tight back there. You know, to be honest. But I've had them on my center speaker now for about 2 weeks-ish, almost 2 weeks. So they're slowly coming up there. I actually got an amazing deal. I'm not even going to go into details, but I only plan to get the upgraded for the left and the right. I'm just say that. And, I got an amazing deal to get these same cables on the center speaker, so I couldn't pass it up. I'm letting them settle in. Center speaker obviously is not going to be the same kind of dynamics and stuff as you would hear from the left and right. So, we'll see. But it's good that they'll have matching stuff and, again, to know that they're really getting fed. So got some more work to do. I'm going to take them out the box and I'm going to hook them up, and I will have more to follow. Obviously, a full kind of review and impressions, and then just may kind of get some footage of them hooked up. So, all right, True Techno Gamer, signing off. So this is what it's all about, guys, right? So completely cold, completely fresh. I just unboxed my Mythical Creatures Thunderbird Audioquest cables. These are, flagship series from Audioquest. They've been doing speaker cables for decades, many, many decades. Lots of research behind it. And, it's been getting rave reviews. The Mythical Creatures, I think they unveiled it probably about, 4 or 5 years ago now. And, everyone was kind of like, even the people that were kind of like Audioquest is, they have a wide range of stuff. You can spend, $100 for get some stuff all the way up to like $100,000 for some of their stuff. So they've always been kind of questionable with the value prop, but this is their flagship, and most people have said it really does make a difference. I mentioned I have heard these cables on these exact speakers, not in my house, but in a boutique, and I heard the difference. So this is an investment for me, to really maximize my system long term. These speakers, the future speakers, 10, 15, 20 years from now, I should be pretty good on the audio front and on the speaker cable front. So I just hooked them up. Literally, this is fresh. This is not a full review, full impressions, because that's not how you want to do this. But I just wanted to capture this because this is like my first ears on, like, is anything there? Do I hear anything? They're going to take a couple 100 hours. They're still going to be, breaking in. So for me and the way I listen, we're in November now. I mean, literally, they're probably still going to be breaking in early next year, like beyond CES, January, February timeframe. So, I got a few months, but just raw first impressions, guys. Check me out. I can walk a little further, show you how to dance when it rains. I've got me some Robert Glasper going on. I've seen him in concert too, and not concert, but at a jazz club. So I can kind of get that vibe. Some Lettucey here. And Gregory Porter, man, this is just good music. Fresh cables. I mean, they're 5 minutes old, literally. And I can already hear a difference. Wow. Wow, yeah. It's just the separation with all of the instruments in the background. The vocals are just that much more full. But it's mostly the background. It's like all of the sounds and the whole soundscape is just so distinct. It almost, like at this point, it almost sounds fake because it sounds hyper real. It's hard to explain. I think that's kind of what the settling will be, the break-in time. Kind of get it sounding a little bit more natural. It's not bad. Like, that's not bad. It's just that it's like it's almost hyper real. That's the best way to describe it. It's like, in the real world, sound is flawed, right? I mean, your ear, the way we perceive things, everything is not perfect. This just sounds like it's, too pristine almost. Right now, this is just 2.0. I don't have the subs on. I just wanted to hear the towers go with the new cables. Bass sounds good. Again, not overpowering. This track doesn't have overpowering bass, but it's there. Oh yeah. There definitely is just more presence to the music. Like as if, again, that much more I am there in the track. Especially with these speakers, I've talked about their soundstage and their ability to project the 3D sound. Like, this is amplifying them for sure. Yeah. It's a lot more of that I am there for sure. Taking this system to the next level, man. I mean, sometimes I just really can't even believe that I have this stuff, man. I just wish I had more time to just really enjoy it. I probably would never leave it. I mean, yeah, how could you not just sit down, just relax and just listen to this? I mean, definitely, this is better than being at a jazz club, to be honest. It does. It's really awesome. I mean, the Bob is also already awesome, but these speaker cables are just, I mean, I barely can even fit them. They're just so thick. There's something you don't think about, because again, I have a home theater, so I already have a ton of wires behind my system. It was really tricky to even just get them to fit in the amp, and but I got them in there. I got to definitely do some cleanup to my system behind there. But yeah, I can hear the difference already, bro. Like I'm telling you, I can hear the difference already. It's not even like I'm A-B'ing them, but the sense of presence is real, man. It really is. All right, let's try another track. All right, here's a classic one right here, right?
So the sound of the birds taking off scared you last night. Though they were right to leave, right to use their wings to fly. So the sound of the birds taking off scared you last night. Though they were right to leave,
This isn't even high res. This track is just CD quality.
I just can't figure out, is it too
But it's still a great recording. Obviously, like, super overused within the audiophile community, right?
Could it be right on?
Everything sounds so sharp, man, so pinpoint.
Could be right on time.
The sense of depth to the sound, man.
So the sound of the birds taking off scared you last night. Though they were right to leave, right to use their wings to fly.
That is crazy. That sound effect right
So
there.
the sound of the birds taking off scared you last night. Though they were right to leave, right to use their wings to fly. Car staring at the ceiling, still traveling fears, thinking if you rise, I rise.
Yeah, it's just like putting you into the music, man. It's just a much more sense of being in the music. It's hard to explain. You just have to hear it. And of course, you're not going to get this through YouTube and, my microphone, my phone right now. But man,
taking off schedule last night. Though they were right to leave, right to use their wings to fly.
I mean that sound sounds like it's coming from way behind the speaker, like up into behind the speaker. It's crazy.
Though they were right to leave, right to use their wings to fly.
Yeah, her voice is just pristine. I mean, the Persona's mid-range, that Beryllium mid-range, man, it's just really clean and fast. I don't know, man. I'm just, I mean, it's one of those things. If I had, 5 top of the line flagship speakers side by side, just with the same setup, same system, yeah, of course they would sound somewhat different, and do different things, right? But just listening to this system right now in isolation, fresh. This is literally like the second song I've listened to with these cables. I just put them in. These cables are like 15 minutes old right now, seriously. And I can hear the difference from the Rocket 88s for sure. It's really like, even when I heard it before, I would, it was hard to articulate, it's hard to explain, but it's there. And yeah, man, it's there. It's just hard to explain. But it just, like I said, the best way I can describe it so far is just there's much more of a presence to the sound. There's much more of a sense, especially with those like high quality recordings, which those 2 tracks were. The sound just envelops you, man. It's just enveloping, and you just feel like you're in it. And I'm not playing it loud because I don't have, a little, shirt mic here to talk and whatever. I got the phone pretty close to me. I just wanted to capture this really quickly, but I wanted you guys to be able to hear me. So I turned the volume down a bit. I don't know, it probably still sound probably loud on the phone. I don't know, but I just wanted to capture this a little bit just to get my initial impressions. You sort of smile, you saw me kind of closing my eyes, getting lost in there. It sounds better. How much better? How do you quantify that monetarily? That's always the question, right? And that's up to everybody. Everybody knows their budgets and whatever. But like I said, for me, this is an investment, right? I want to be able to maximize the system while I have it. But again, 10 years, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, truthfully, there really isn't much further to go in terms of speaker cables, man. Like, there really isn't. I mean, the difference between the Thunderbirds and the Dragons, and I've heard the Dragons before, very different system, but all the impressions I've heard, even from Audioquest guys, I mean, they're like, look, the Dragon is their their ultimate. It has silver, so basically it's Thunderbird is basically everything. All the tech is there. It's just copper. It's all copper, and then with the Dragon you get silver. There is a difference in the sound if you had them side by side, but the difference is nowhere near as big as going from the Rocket 88s to the Thunderbirds, right? And I heard the Thunderbirds and Rocket 88s kind of A/B, so I know what that sounds like. So yeah, man, I mean, I think it's a good investment so far. I was kind of nervous about it until I heard it myself. I sat there in a room for about an hour listening to several tracks, and they literally unplugged the Rocket 88s, put in, I also listened to the William Tells. So we did Rocket 88s, William Tells, and then the Thunderbirds, man. And I heard the difference in every step with these same speakers. That was what solidified it to me. I was like, okay, it's real, it's there. And the overall equipment wasn't my exact system, but it was something on par. It was in the same ballpark, the same price range. So that's when I was like, okay, I know this makes a difference. This was a YOLO purchase for sure. But my justification is this is it, right? Like I rocked the same simple speaker cable I had previously for 20 years, roughly, not knowing any better. Now I have, a penultimate speaker cable. Like, why? Like, where else would I go? Why would I feel like I need the Firebirds or the Dragons or some other line that's generally going to be on par? I feel like this is really a long-term thing for me, and I'm good. But yeah, no, I can't wait to just hear these. These are going to sound different over time, man. Like, these are going to break in. And like I said, probably for a few months at the rate that I listen to my system, I'll probably check in with y'all and check in with these, like, literally, like, probably 4 months time from now. That'll be like a couple of 100 hours, maybe my rate, 200-ish hours. And I'll let you guys know, but they already sound better. They sound like they're really, really fresh. Like I said, almost like hyper real, surreal, not necessarily organic sounding right now. Um, that's just me, again, as my audiophile trained ear, so to speak. No one would, I think, would describe it that way, but I'm looking for them to settle in a little bit more and kind of get that more balanced organic sound there. But the three dimensionality to the sound, the sense of depth and space to the sound, man, that was noticeable and it was better. So I'm excited. I mean, I'm sure you guys saw the smile on my face just listening to it. So speaker cables do matter, and the early verdict on these mythical creatures, Thunderbird cables, they make a difference. I am a happy customer, man. So, true techno gamer, man. Till next one, sign it off.